And hello. Welcome yet to the second part of our 7-part series talking about the Seoul Cyber Conference here in Seoul at the COEX Mall. You haven't been there yet, have you? COEX Mall.
The COEX Mall? I don't think so.
We definitely need to go there sometime.
I've been to like 2 or 3 different malls, but I don't think I've been to that one.
Well, COEX is pretty big. You'd remember it if we had gone there. So we're going to have to go there, obviously, before you leave. But today we're going to talk about the first theme. The first one is economic growth and development. Now, of course, you being fairly new to the college life, you haven't taken too many economic courses yet, have you?
No.
Haven't taken it yet, have you?
Not one.
I actually gave you a book today. The Commanding Heights. Very good book. Highly recommended. Just to kind of give you a background on economic history. It doesn't go too much into economics itself, but just rather the history behind it. Very good read. So I'm just going to read this off here, talking about how they term economic growth and some of the things that they're hoping that goes in your way. Some of the things they're hoping to tackle with this issue. Today's global economy is becoming increasingly integrated with information and communications technology, creating what is often called the Internet economy. It is also widely recognized that the Internet economy has greatly contributed to economic growth and development, and that its open nature has potential to enable people across the world to enjoy its benefits. Some countries, however, do not seem to be fully reaping the potential benefits of the Internet economy due to lack of awareness or expertise. I think it's only half the issue. We'll talk about that when we get there. Okay. In this regard, developmental models of the Internet economy can provide countries, especially developing countries, with policy guidance and solutions to integrating the Internet into their economies in a way that will lead to economic growth. Okay, so some of the objectives that they're hoping to get out of this are to discuss the roles of various stakeholders and the impact of the Internet economy on global economic growth, to explore feasible development models of the Internet economy, and to identify potential steps to provide policy guidance to developing countries on capacity building to implement the Internet economy. Now, this right here, just got it straight off of the website. Again, that is soulcyber2013.kr. If you do kr/en, it'll come up in English. And just go there to the far right link is resources. You can print this out for yourself. 14-page document. It is 12 pages. It's actually only like 8 pages. There's a couple of blank pages in there for no apparent reason.
Just in case you want a couple of blank pages.
In case you need a blank page. I'm pretty sure it's...
Of course, having a normal blank page isn't good enough. You'd have to run it through the printer and have it just like print pages in between. Because that gives it a nice little extra feel to it.
It's a little lean to it. I'm assuming they made this as a brochure first and then put it on the website. And that explains all the wonky blank pages. But anyways, the resource is there available for you as a PDF. Highly recommend that you pick it up. It covers all 6 of the topics and the questions we're going to go over today.
And if you keep watching all these, you won't even have to read it. You can listen to Jamin's Morgan Freeman voice and just read them to you.
Yes, I do have quite the lovely voice, don't I?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go over some of the questions they have here, and we'll talk about some of these in detail.
Let's do this.
Number 1, what does an open internet contribute to economic growth?
No idea.
What are the success stories or best practices of the internet economy? Now, the first thing obviously the internet contributes is opening avenues of business that didn't exist before, widening markets. A very easy example are places like Amazon.
Yeah. And eBay. There's people putting crap on both of those sites all the time saying, hey, if someone wants to buy this book or this movie or whatever.
Now, previously, if you wanted to do that, your market was extremely small. You're basically dealing with your neighbors, maybe some friends, some coworkers.
Just the stores nearby. So you had to drive an hour to go to a certain store that carried a certain product.
Exactly. But the internet has allowed these places to be not only nationwide, but in case of Amazon, it's global. Almost half the world has access to Amazon. It's pretty amazing what they've been able to accomplish.
Especially as they started just as a bookstore online. I mean, that's...
Exactly. And entrepreneurship. It is entrepreneurship. And
we went over it in class.
And of course, it does work at smaller levels. Of course, they had Amazon Marketplace. So there'll be times where I'll jump onto Amazon. Amazon will be offering me a product, and someone in the marketplace says,
"Aren't Amazon?"
They aren't Amazon, but someone there in the marketplace will say, "They're offering you for that price. I can actually offer it to you a little bit cheaper." And I'll
bet the comparing thing up there.
Exactly, and I'll buy it from them. That's something that just feasibly can't happen with the internet. There's no avenue in the brick and mortar store where someone go up and, you're going to pay $12 for that shirt? I'll sell it to you for $10, and it's the exact same shirt. That doesn't really happen. The closest thing you have to it is
kicked out of that store. Get the heck out of my store.
Exactly, but the internet economy, obviously, it's very different. Another big one is things like YouTube. Here you have people that, with very few resources, are able to provide a service, in this case, entertainment, in ways that not only can make them money, but can also help make money for other people, obviously through ad revenue and the like. Something that just simply physically could not exist without the internet.
Yep.
What are the roles of various stakeholders in pursuing an internet economy? Now, yes, holding the steak, nice juicy porterhouse, but of course,
no, I really wanted a steak. Thanks.
I really want a steak. Now, of course, there's various stakeholders here. I'm going to cheat and basically run it into three major camps.
All right, three major camps.
The first is the state. The state, of course, is your political leaders, policymakers. They're stakeholders. They have two different faces they have to serve. The first face, obviously, is they want their people to make money.
Yeah. Their party, if you will.
Their party. There you go. They want their people to make money. Their party to make money. So sometimes it actually makes them do things that are not in the best interest of an open internet. They're not in the best interest of fostering an internet economy. But on the other hand, there's also those who want to open up to the internet economy because they see the potential benefits. So there's always that confliction there. So basically, their allegiances in this issue are either, is it going to make my people money, or is it going to look bad on me politically? And I think that's going to guide a lot of their decisions in the internet economy. And the other major camp is businesses, and this can be both small businesses and large businesses. According to an OECD report, almost every major industry in the world now has some form of internet connectivity. Something crazy like in the small and medium enterprises, something as high as 89% in the OECD countries have some form of use in the internet, whether when they're buying products, to sell at the stores, when they're contacting large sellers or whatever, people to get themselves product, or they're trying to advertise their store or whatever. 89%, that's a vast majority.
Can we make it 90%?
Okay, we'll make it 90% just for you. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that number, so make sure to look it up. I'll post a link here or something. A vast majority of stores like that rely on the internet for some facet of their business. Yeah. So obviously they want access to the internet, and what angle they'll take it from is, how can it help me? How can it make me more productive? How can it make me more money? So they have their own interests there. And finally, there is lower than that, the regular civilian. Obviously, internet economy is going to affect them in different ways. Here in South Korea, internet shopping is huge. I can't even tell you how many times I'll walk I'll walk up the steps here to go to my house, and I'll just see packages sitting in front of people's houses. Order
all over the place.
All over the place. Yeah, they're big on internet shopping here in Korea. So obviously,
it's getting kind of there in the States, I would say.
And it allows people access to products and materials that they wouldn't have otherwise. So not just on the entertainment side, not just on the product side, but also in other areas such as news, information, even education. Now, how important has the internet become to educating ourselves?
Google.
Just Google it.
Google it. Exactly. I mean, come on.
Don't use Wikipedia as a resource.
Don't. No, Wikipedia is garbage.
So obviously they're a very important stakeholder there. So whether the angle they're coming from is how can it improve myself, or how it can improve my quality of life. I think that's an important thing to remember for that particular stakeholder. What are the factors that may contribute to the innovative development of the internet economy? There's a lot, but the two that come to mind firstly is infrastructure. Infrastructure is huge. Anytime you're talking about anything economy, obviously infrastructure is important. But in the case of internet, if they have no way to log onto the internet, they can't log onto the internet.
Exactly.
And even if they have an avenue, but it's difficult or it's expensive or it's prohibitive, it's not very good. It's not very good infrastructure. So I think that's one of the most important things, is having that infrastructure in place. Then once you have that in place, they need trust. Now this comes in a lot of facets, whether it's laws and policy that dictate good governance on the internet, good policies on the internet. If people didn't trust Amazon, they wouldn't buy there.
Yeah. There's a big trust thing with eBay.
Yeah.
Because there's anyone can get on there. Everyone could show a picture of something, and then you buy it, and it ends up not being anywhere near what you thought it would be.
How many stories have you heard about people buying, this is back when Nintendo Wii's were selling out everywhere. They'd buy a Nintendo Wii, and it'd just be the box. If you read in the bottom of the description, this is just the box. But of course, it's in tiny font, and you can't read it. So you pay $250, $300 for an empty box.
Yeah, it's like the internet meme, and it shows a picture of I think like an Xbox or whatever, and the guy's pulling out like his little Game Boy Pocket or whatever, and he's like, "This is why I don't shop at eBay anymore." Something stupid like that. It's just like
close enough.
Yeah, close enough. But yeah, I mean, so I know eBay went through that. I know eBay is still used a lot. I'm happy for them. I've used eBay a couple times. One time I would say I kind of got screwed, but jokes on them because I was able to fix what was wrong with it. I got a 360 that the disk drive. It didn't read disk properly at all. It couldn't register anything. Jokes on them. I took it apart, took the old one I had, and put that in, and it worked fine. So I was like, ha, screw you guys.
But obviously, that's a huge trust issue, and that's something that is still a problem in developed countries. Developing countries is probably even a bigger issue. You ask somebody in I'm trying to think of it right. Madagascar that might be living living not in one of the major cities, but in a village somewhere, and tell them, oh, you give us your personal information and you convert your money to ones and zeros in this internet bank, and we will send you a product eventually. That's
especially if you say it like that. But yeah,
it sounds like a scam.
If you're not familiar with it, and it's definitely something new. I mean, that's why a lot of places crash and burn and don't develop very well. That's why it took a while for Amazon and eBay and places, people like them, to take off. It's because they said the trust, and people aren't very trusting.
No,
not even sort of. There's a reason why all the gas stations, excuse me, in the States are prepay. We don't trust you. You're going to run away with our gas.
And the only reason I said Madagascar because they were news today because of their presidential elections. I'll tell you about it after this video. That's really going to date this video. Sorry, guys. Okay, the next question. How can development models of the internet economy be devised and practically applied? Now, for the devised part, this is going to show my colors here. Again, I am a constructionist-leaning realist. Of course, that means nothing to you. But for those of you who do know what that means, knows I don't trust governments. And it's not just my government sucks or your government sucks. It's in general, you give people power, they abuse it. That's just how humans function.
You give it... like you said, it's how we are. I mean, you give anyone power in any situation, even if they're a good person, even if they only do it a little bit, there'll be times it shines through. You realize that they abuse that. They change something that they know they can get away with, and you're like, okay, it's crap.
And I know there's a lot of politicians out there that think they have the perfect idea for developing a internet-based economy model. I don't think you do. I think if you did have that information, you'd be a CEO right now making millions of dollars instead of being a public official. I don't think you love your job so much you're willing to sacrifice the millions of dollars and the beautiful cars and beautiful women in exchange for your service to the public. No.
Especially since you end up, a lot of them betray their public by going for the money and the beautiful babes and the cars.
South Korea used to have a bad corruption problem. They're getting better, but there's still some kinks to work out. U.S. isn't much better in that regard. No. Every country has that issue. But
morals, man, come on.
Morals aren't. But carrying on, I don't think it's politicians. I don't think it's policymakers that have this idea. The people who need to create it are the people who have already been successful. You need the private industry. You need the business leaders to be talking, even if they're not the ones to actually write up. Obviously, you need politicians to write the legalese and all that. But when you set up that conversation table, when you're drafting this stuff up, if there's no business leaders at your table and it's just politicians, you are doing something wrong.
Definitely. If you get a handful of politicians, like you said, they obviously don't have the real answer. Yeah. But a few of them might have some good ideas. I mean, so they can, put them out there. But you need the business leaders. You need the people who understand it better. The people who, as you said, are successful in it, because they can take that idea and say, okay, well, that helps, or well, if you change it like this, that could actually be real useful. So you need the wide pool of people who are actually experienced in this.
If you learned anything from the Chicago boys over in Chile, when they were trying to do their economic reform, going from state-led economics to market-led, they got a bunch of economists, a lot of them students, who only knew the theoretical side and the practical side. And they didn't do a very good job at first. It took some time because they had to get experience. You need people who have that experience. That experience is beyond immeasurable. It is very important to have that. And so you need the business leaders talking about that. Now, of course, there's always the issue of they're not going to want to give everything away because they want to protect their business secrets and trade secrets. That's understandable. But if anyone knows the right direction to be pointing in, it's the people who've already been successful there. That's just my opinion, of course. What public policies, such as investing in broadband connection and promoting fair competition in e-commerce, can governments pursue to promote the internet economy? Now, we already talked about both of those. Obviously, infrastructure is important, and setting up good governments and policies to say, okay, this is how the law of the internet works. Obviously, that can't be perfect. Every country is going to have its own internet laws, and you have a lot of places that have, so we say, legally special needs. You look at the Middle East, how they do laws and regulations for a lot of, especially the more the ones that have their a lot of their legal systems based on Islamic beliefs. They're going to have different ways of viewing some of these policies and whatnot, and so it's going to be hard to create something that's completely universal. But what the government can try to do is set up something that works well for them, and try to work within your means. You look at places like Iceland being a nice harbor for internet pirates. You're not helping anybody out, Iceland. You're just making a bunch of money for thieves. And I know they think they're being like, oh, fight the man. Those companies employ more than just the man. They employ a lot of working men and working women. But that's neither here nor there. What's something else that governments can do? One important thing, I think, is setting up information awareness. Like we said before, for this random mysterious villager in some town somewhere in Madagascar, he doesn't know. He might not know what a lot of these terms mean because he doesn't have the experience with it yet.
Yeah, I don't know what all these terms mean.
The government needs to assist in that, and it doesn't need to be some huge nationwide campaign spending millions and millions of taxpayer dollars. It can be simple things, just educating people what these terms mean. Build into school curriculum. It doesn't matter if your country doesn't have a lot of, really great access to a lot of high-speed internet or whatnot at the moment. You need to be telling these kids what these words mean, what these terms mean, letting them know, build it up. Build them up from the ground up, understanding what these things mean. You can build in that trust factor there, and that's something the government does have control over.
Yep.
Finally, the last one they have here is, what can the international community... How can, the international community promote the internet economy through such means as the technological innovation and technological cooperation? Now, here's the big question.
The big one.
The big one. What can the international community do to foster the international economy? I guess use it properly. Like we said with the eBay case scenario, people didn't trust it. It took good people doing the right thing and enough word of mouth spreading to allow it to catch on.
Yeah.
So I guess the best thing they can do is be good ambassadors. To promote, again, fair cooperation, to promote good competition, to promote a healthy economy there on the internet. That's basically all the government can do. First fix yourself at home. Make your internet economy something that wants to be emulated by these other countries. Don't be going to them and being like, oh yeah, we have this huge problem with cybercrime and people stealing other people's stuff on eBay and scamming themselves, but we think this would really help your economy, so implement this. Take the log out of your own eye and start fixing things. Obviously, nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Oh, no.
But try to make a system that others want to emulate. In the case of Chile, they saw how well free market economy was working elsewhere. You look at Russia. Russia didn't have much of a choice when it came to free market. The Soviet Union collapsed, but they saw places where things were working. And look at China. Look at China at the moment. Their policy changes.
That's exactly what you do. Like when you look at something that someone or some country or whatever is doing well, and you take that and you adopt that idea, and you have to change it obviously to fit you better. That's like what we over in the entrepreneurship class. It's not something you don't steal another idea, because obviously that's not right. But
when it comes to economy,
it's a little something different. But like obviously in business, but so you just look, you see what they do well. Okay, are they like, again, in my class in business and such, you would see, okay, they're super friendly to the customers. Well, we can understand that they get some more. Their product isn't as good, but they're super friendly, so people want to go back there. Yes. Something like that. You look at what other people do, and you look at what they do right, and you pretty much copy it. You pretty much take that and understand that and mold it a little bit to fit you better. But
I mean, how many times have I heard the terms like, oh, they're like the Google of India, or they're like the Amazon of Pakistan. I've heard terms like that a lot, because if you're smart, you see where people are successful and you try to emulate that. You're not going to might not be able to get to the same scale, but we as developed countries, if you really want to help developing countries adopt these policies and adopt these kind of economic models, make a good model yourself, and they're going to want to emulate that.
Be a good role model.
A good role model. And that's all we have for today. Join us next week. We'll be talking about the next topic there, which is about the impact of internet on culture and on society.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Again, we'll eventually get to topics I'm a little more knowledgeable about. I am not an economics major, obviously.
Know a lot more than I do.
Yeah, well, you're the business major. So, but anyways, we'll be talking to you guys later. So take care. Bye.
Signing off.